This is Stacy Marshall with Printwear Magazine.
Matt Busselle with the rhinestoneworld.com.
Richard Greaves with screenmaking.com.
Brian Walker with RTP Apparel.
You are listening to the Two Regular Guys
Podcast.
Hosted by
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
Terry Combs.
And
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Aaron Montgomery.
Keep on listening.
I don't know if these guys are that regular.
All right. Welcome to the show. It's Friday, September 27th, 2019. I'm Terry Combs, and you can find me at terrycombs.com.
Hey, everybody. I am Eric Campbell, and I'm in today for Aaron Montgomery. You can find me at ericcampbell.com, and Aaron today is speaking at the Sublimation Summit all through this weekend, so I'm behind the controls, you poor folks. Today we're going to be talking with Jay Busselle about experiential marketing in the apparel decoration space, and at the end of the show, we're going to bring in Clay Rivera to talk about CorelTrainer.com and what's going on with Fort Worth coming up shortly, so that'll be in the last 10 minutes.
Awesome. Hey, news items. I just have a couple of shout outs. Well, more than a couple, because I ran into a lot of people in Columbus for the MBM show. And so Joe Ortnow, who's been on the show before, a good friend of the show, Linda Becker, Bill Lubers. We've shouted out them in the past. Nate Lieber came by, Richard Greaves, Pierre Jemnicki.
Awesome.
Hopefully I didn't forget anybody, but all those folks stopped by the Equipment Zone booth to say hello, and then went out and had some cocktails with a few of these folks as well. And it was a fun trip to Columbus, Ohio. And plus I get to see family, my sister, my niece, my nephew, their families. They all live in Columbus, so got to spend a little family time as well. And one more person though, I spoke with Justin Rodriguez in California yesterday, and Justin, I just want to say thanks for being one of our regulators.
That is super awesome to hear all the shout outs. And actually, while we have everybody on here, we have some people coming in already from the comments. Sharon, happy to have you here. Good morning. Cindy, always good to have you listening and watching. I know you're always checking us out. And Michelle, thank you for jumping in early on. Now, unfortunately, my news item is a bit of a sad one. As a lot of folks know, especially in the screen printing world, Joe Clark, who was a pioneer and innovator in the screen printing industry, passed away on September 22nd. His time in the industry spans multiple companies, roles, and decades. Born in Youngstown, Ohio in 1951, he entered the screen printing community after graduating high school, and his first career in the market was his own business, Clark Silkscreen. Continued his career contributing knowledge at seminars and technical articles, and an extensive book on four-color process in the 80s entitled Control Without Confusion. Further on, served various high-level roles in the industry, including Vice President of the Flexible Products at M&R, Vice President at Willflex Poly One, and the head of his own company, Clark Product Renovation and Synergy Incs. And I saw all over Facebook this week people kind of pouring out their love and a little bit of mourning because Joe really influenced a lot of folks. And so we wanted to make sure we recognized him today.
Absolutely. And condolences to Joe's family. And I don't know if somebody is leaning on the outline, but it's adding pages and pages and pages in front of me. I don't know if that's happening on your end.
Looks like it's stopped now, but yeah, as you'll find out today, folks, without Aaron at the helm, we have some technical stuff that may be going on, people. But yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, we want to thank all the our regular listeners, the regulators. If anybody has an idea for the show, you can reach us at our contact us page at 2 regular guys, the number 2 regularguys.com. And I'm having a little trouble getting to the bottom of my outline here, Eric. So let's
go ahead and do that.
Let's move on to that with our hear a word from our sponsor in Brilliance.
Absolutely.
This episode of the Two Regular Guys is makers of the Reggie Award-winning Embrilliance embroidery software. Embrilliance is different. You don't need hardware dongles or to trade active seats for every user. One license lets you run every computer in your shop at once. Embrilliance runs natively on both Mac and Windows. Your single license lets you install on both platforms. Embrilliance is modular. If you only need customizing with lettering, sizing, and recoloring, you can get just that. Embrilliance's unique stitch processing tools even allow you to resize and improve expanded stitch files from digitizers or stock collections for faster running, lighter embroideries. If you decide you need fully featured digitizing, it's fast and easy to add powerful design creation tools to your system. You can start with any tool and build your ideal kit. All Embrilliance programs run standalone or work together in their unified platform. See the difference for yourself at Embrilliance.com. Two Regular Guys listeners can enter the exclusive code 2RG. That's the number 2RG at embrilliance.com/store for 10% off your entire purchase.
All right.
All right.
Well, thanks to Embrilliance for their sponsorship through this year, and happy to share this space with them. Time to bring in Jay Busselle, I think. My outline is completely gone now, so
Okay.
I'm going to work on that while we bring Jay in and ask him a few questions about. Hey, Jay.
So here's Jay.
Hey, guys.
Hey, thank you for coming on today, Jay. So as we have Terry kind of working on the outline, tell us a little bit about what you're currently doing and where you are right now.
Hey, listen, Terry doesn't need an outline. He knows all of this anyway. So that crutch, Terry, come on. You're a professional. Well, listen, first of all, thanks for having me back. After the last time, you never know. So I am thrilled to be back on the Two Regular Guys. And yeah, I miss Aaron a little bit, but Eric, you know what? You're a handsome guy. And, don't let Aaron push you around those controls. You look like you know what you're doing over there.
Yeah. I wouldn't really trust that, man. I don't think I do know what I'm doing. But we are happy to have you back on. And honestly, I'm really happy to have you back on talk about this topic because it's something I know you know very well. We're talking about experiential marketing today. So for people who don't really know anything about it, let's just start with the terms. What exactly is experiential marketing as you define it?
Okay, great question. And there are a lot of good definitions for this, obviously. But I'm going to give you, after thinking about it and researching and, of course, checking out other people's definitions, I really like the folks at Eventbrite. If you've never seen them before, they're an online platform that they help sell tickets, and they do a really cool software platform that facilitates events. So they know what they're doing in events. And here's what they said, and then we'll build on this. They said it's a strategy or a purposeful plan that engages consumers, and we could say staff, or we could say attendees, but it engages those people using branded experiences. And I know that sometimes we might refer to this as live marketing, or even as an event marketing experience. So however you want to phrase that, it really doesn't matter, because the idea is to create a memorable experience that's going to impact those attendees. So it's one that's going to give the ability to inspire, and that they will share with their friends, both online and off. So again, it could be staff, it could be customers, it could be prospects, but those folks want an experience, and they want something that's remarkable, something that they can really relate to. And that instead of making them feel just like a checkbook, they're going to feel like a participant, right? Because we've all been to attend events where it's like, oh, here comes another $30. Oh, I got to do this. Oh, you got to sign up and pay for that. That's getting kind of tired and old. So I really like this concept of, treating people as participants, like they're engaged, they're with us on this journey.
So yeah, it's not even just that it's an experience, it's that they're part of it and engaging in it. And I think that kind of having that skin in the game, we talk about that. We talk about education a lot, that there's skin in the game, but I think you can have that in more ways than just asking somebody to pop open their wallet. And I really have to agree with the way that you're handling that. I mean, really having experience, it's not just live marketing, it's everything else that goes along with it. So since, by the way, we've temporarily lost Mr. Combs. Here we go. He's back. Terry, are you back in?
So I like being sandwiched in the middle.
It was a bizarre trip. It was
wow. Tell us about it later, Terry.
Yeah, it's all about it, man. But do you want to go on from there, Terry? Are you good? Your outline back on?
I'm all good to go.
All right.
The last I heard was, what exactly is experiential marketing?
Well, Jay gave a brilliant answer that you missed about sharing the experience. I think so.
Let me work that.
Yeah, work that mustache in.
I'll have to go back and listen on Facebook or on podcast version. So did you ask my question already?
No, I did not, Terry.
Okay.
Just jump on in, buddy.
All right. While I'm still on the air.
Yes.
So Jay, why does it work so well, experiential marketing for apparel and other product decorators?
Yeah, good point. It's not just apparel decorators. It's both. So apparel decorators or promotional product decorators. To answer your question, the reason is because you can create a very purpose-driven experience where attendees are involved. And if you think about some of these synonyms for experience, or being involved, engaged, participating, they have the opportunity that we take for granted, which is to watch this process, watch this product go from blank to decorated in real time. For a lot of people, they've never seen it. And so it's like a moment of discovery and the curiosity, and you see their eyes get big because they're like, whoa, this is so cool. And obviously, whenever it's possible, another reason this can work so well for apparel decorators and promotional product decorators is that you can purposely create hands-on experiences. You can create an experience, a live marketing event where folks are literally doing. They're not just watching. So watching would be the first level, but doing or being some kind of a participant in the process. And what happens is when you bring that together, you get a significantly deeper emotional connection, and that's going to impact their senses. If they can touch that squeegee, they'll never forget that experience. If they can, hoop a shirt, if they can load a pen, even if it's just a small, minor part of the process, then they become the co-creators of this branded swag and this branded merchandise. And I'm telling you, it's a game changer.
Well, Jay, just like at that you and I witness all the time at work in the Equipment Zone booth is when Wade is our technician as he loads a shirt and he says to the audience, "Who wants to push the blue button?" And somebody steps forward, pushes that button, and I think that's a great example. Also, the last trade show, Jay, you and I did, there were 9 companies exhibiting the Epson F2100.
Please don't remind me.
Yeah,
it was not a high point for us, but
a huge difference was this.
Yep.
8 of those booths, you walked by and you saw a machine there with a shirt on it. Our booth, you walk by and Wade saying, "Hey, come here, push the blue button," and they watched the process being done. So I think that's people that just shows that's a good example of somebody taking advantage of that opportunity to have the attendees participate.
Well, I mean, we're seeing it in retail spaces too. I mean, you're seeing people setting up these experiential booths where there's a layout of design, and it's usually on some sort of like large tablet system, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or I saw recently their pictures on Instagram this morning from I think it's Lion Brothers, who had set up something in the Harley Museum where you can select a design and put it on there. And as we know, Harley being very protective of their IP, that's probably your only choice ever to select a Harley design and put it on something.
That's probably true.
So, I mean, yeah, same kind of thing. Even if you aren't pushing the button or hooping a garment, even just moving things around on screen and saying go, that's enough for people to feel like, oh, I made that. I don't know, all of us in Decorator are like, yeah, you really made that kid.
Yeah. Well, they weren't necessarily making it, but they became, that's what they feel like, is that they at least had some participation, some role in that. And I'm telling you, you're right, Eric. Huge brands are doing this. Levi's has done this. Vogue magazine has done this. Home Depot, Facebook. These are all huge brands that know that they've got to deliver something more than just people show up and grab a bag. The grab a bag is no longer a cool experience. We've done that 5 million times at trade shows.
Yeah.
Right.
So I just think you nailed it when you talk about major retail brands are looking for a new experience.
Hey, so Eric, were there a team of Harley Davidson attorneys standing in the corner of that space, possibly in leather suits as opposed to?
Nice.
I'm gonna guess watching the cameras, there are plenty of people watching what was going on, because in the Harley Museum, I'm sure there's control all over the place. But I mean, once again, the funny thing is, tiny little choices are like, oh, 1 of 5 designs. So it's not like people were customizing everything or colors or anything else. It was just like, pick one of these several designs and say go, and that's it. And honestly, I think that they were heat pressing pre-made patches. So it's like, it is the smallest amount of customization, and still it makes an impact. In fact, it makes me kind of transition to the next thing I wanted to ask Jay. So for our industry, what are like the common examples that you've seen of how this
So-
works.
So I break it down into kind of thinking through the actual, let's say the equipment or the machine. So first, we're going to say manual screen printers and the ability to do one, or usually when I've both done it myself personally or been involved or watched others, it's typically a 1 to 2 color manual setup, and they'll have a small conveyor belt dryer next to that unit, so they're able to literally print and then cure the shirts live on site. So screen printers can definitely take advantage of this. Heat pressing specialty materials. So if you have pre-cut materials or transfers pre-made, you can heat press on site or give a little flavor of that experience with heat pressing products. Sublimation folks will also do this where they can pre-print their transfers, and maybe they're going to have a mug press or a hat press. It doesn't always have to be a giant, full-size heat press, but again, the opportunity is with a desktop system, you could get pretty creative pretty fast and personalize and customize. I've seen laser engravers set up where people are doing pens, patches, different products, cool swag, leather products that, people really see that and they're like, whoa, I've never seen a laser, and look at it live, and it's making my name. Because the time it takes to print a logo versus to print my name or engrave my name, it's the same amount of time, it's the same amount of work. So why not personalize it? Embroiderers have been doing this for a long time. Eric, I know you've seen this, probably done it yourself, whether they're embroidering names or monogramming. They have a one-head, single unit set up, and they're able to see it. And the sound of an embroidery machine and it just draws people in. They're literally like, whoa, what is that? Watching that needle go up and down. Pretty cool stuff. And then finally, because Terry brought this up, using a direct-to-garment printer to print beautiful, full color, vivid graphics that can be customized, that can be personalized. Now, clearly at events that we do, like a typical trade show, but there's no difference between an event like what we're doing at a trade show and then an event that some of your listeners, the regulators, would be going to on a retail basis, on an experience with their customers. It's the same thing. It's just a different audience. So it's totally possible. And in fact, I'm encouraging it. I'm as strongly as I could recommend it. If you want to get through the clutter, if you want to break through the noise, if you want to differentiate yourself from average to above average, risk it. Create the event, go to your best customer and say, I want to create an experiential market, a live marketing event for you, for your staff. Test it on them and their staff first, because it's a little safer environment and they won't freak out if something goes wrong. And then have that test kitchen work and watch what happens, and watch the team building, and watch the eyeballs get large, and watch them, truly have a physical connection and an emotional reaction to this printing event. And it's just a game changer. I mean, I don't know what else to call it, but you're giving people the evidence and the proof of your ability to make and create live with them. I just can't think of anything better.
Jay, and one big thing that I don't know that all decorators appreciate, but people are intrigued by our industry and by what we do. When I first started screen printing, people would walk into my shop, and I had a counter up front, but you could see my manual press, about 20 feet away back behind the counter. And everybody that walked in there walked right around the counter and right up to the machine, because they wanted to see that printing. Screen printing's been around forever, but people would just stand there in awe of watching a multicolored job being printed. And so I think we're in a unique situation that not everybody has the ability to demonstrate what they do as well as we do as decorators.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Right. I mean, and Jay, you're totally right. Embroiderers have been doing this forever, monogramming. And I mean, the one classic example everybody has is if you've gone to Disneyland and you get the hats back.
Yes.
This is back in the day of hand chain stitching.
Right.
Yeah. Names on stuff on a single hat always has been something. It's always been a thing. Or honestly, mall hat shops. If you haven't seen one of those, then you haven't been around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it is really classic for that to happen. And that's with embroidery, which takes an immense amount of time. I know this. It's not like a print. It does take a lot of time if you're putting a logo down. Yeah, check that out. You got Jay's hat. Let's go ahead and go
Got
live.
some 3D. Let's go.
Got some 3D
Zoom in
foam
on
rocking
that.
on there.
That's right.
Not bad. But absolutely.
I just spoke to somebody in Columbus who said that that she's an embroiderer and she goes to the Shriners convention every year with her embroidery machine in tow, and she has a few different graphics that she embroiders right there live, and she says people line up to watch and to purchase, not just get a free sample, but to purchase those hats. And she said she used to be the only person there doing it. Now there's all different types of decorators there decorating live right there in front of everyone, because people love to see that kind of thing.
They do. They're so curious and they can't help it. They're just, your brain wants to solve the puzzle. So when you see the process, you're like, oh, that's how it's done. And then they're impressed. They're impressed with your skill set and your ability. And it just opens up great conversations rather than how much, right?
Yeah.
How much is that tote bag or that hat or that shirt?
Right.
It's value. It's like Carolyn here says, we're bringing some comments. Carolyn Cagle, mesmerizing. Absolutely. And as she says, her stuff is out in the open, including the art barf that happens in the process. Art barf.
Art barf.
That's a new term. I haven't heard that term.
Well, all of the random supplies and stuff that hang around.
And I steal a lot of my borrowing social media comments in my seminars and things from Jay. But when I talk about, folks screen printing at midnight and posting a 30-second video, people will say to me, nobody wants to see me do that. No, everybody wants to see you do that.
I've been embroidering all this time. I still, to this day, watch videos of people doing conventional embroidery on their machines. Embroidery that I've done that I have seen a million times, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll just sit here for a minute and watch that. So people want to see it. Lay people especially want to see it. Yeah.
So Jay, we talked about some common examples. What are some really unique examples of what people are doing out there with this type of marketing?
Well, let me tell you one that I don't want this to be about me, but the story includes me in it. But the experience was so eye-opening for me. Jeff Morgenthaler, who we work with, Jeff and I had the opportunity last October to drive down to Tucson and set up for the ASI Power Summit. And ASI had a 3-day training event for the who's who in the promotional products industry. These are all of the top 40 suppliers and the top 40 vendors or promotional product distributors, agencies, whatever they want to call themselves. And it was a really, really cool event. But what was fun for us is they wanted to have an experience. And they originally asked if I had a 3D printer, which I used to have, no longer works, and is really slow. I mean, if you even though the technology is advanced, it's still really, really slow. So I said, look, if you wanted to print the Eiffel Tower and it would be about 4 or 5 inches tall, it would be super cool. And especially if people have about 3 or 4 hours to watch it happen, because so it's not going to deliver the experience that you want. So I said, but we do have a direct to garment printer. And she was like, well, what's that? And I'm like, they've been on your show floor for the last 4 or 5 years. I was kind of poking the bear a little bit, as I tend to do. I said, but what's different is we can print live. And she's like, well, wait a minute, like screen printing? I go, no, it's digital printing, and we're going to be able to print in full color live. And so what we'll do is we'll do a run of Keynote bags, cool tote bags, with the Keynote speaker's picture on it. And at the time, the Keynote speaker was Jesse Itzler. And Jesse Itzler's a big deal. He's an author. He went from rapping to writing jingles for some of his favorite NBA teams. He's a well-known author at this point in his life. He's married to Sarah Blakely, who created Spanx. They live in Atlanta. He's a crazy ultra marathoner, and he's just a super crazy, cool, passionate guy. He was coming and he was going to be the keynote speaker. So we wanted to put his picture on the front of the bag, and everybody gets a cool bag, right? Well, that's not enough. So Jeff and I decided, hey, we're like 3 weeks away from Halloween. So what we did is we created 4 cool designs, Halloween designs. And we said, by the way, in addition to getting your cool keynote trade show speaker bag, you could also pick a bag for yourself or for your kids. If you have a kid, pick any one of these designs up here that you see. And on the other side, we'll personalize it. So tell us your kid's name. We had a line of like 15 people waiting for the Halloween bags. Now, the keynote speaker bag was cool. And Jesse himself came over and was like, he picked it up and he's like, dude, this is awesome. And I said, would you do me a favor and would you sign that bag for me? And he goes, hell yeah. And I wish I was at the office because I have that bag with his signature on it. It says, this is cool. And then signed it by Jesse. But the point is that the keynote speaker was impressed. All of the top brass at all of these big time companies were impressed. And they own this technology, some of them. All of these top promotional product suppliers and distributors gathering around and getting a customized bag. I mean, it was so cool for us to have that experience because it cemented back the thought that this is the game changer. This is the differentiation maker. This separates people from just delivering a bag. We're delivering an experience. So I don't mean to shine the light just on myself and Jeff, but I wanted to tell that story because I was blown away by people that are, multi-million dollar companies, I mean, Jesse has shares in the Atlanta Hawks, I think. He's like a co-owner of the team. So at this point in his life, yes, ultramarathoners are crazy.
That's
yes,
right.
I will confirm
Comment from
that.
Todd. Yeah,
Yeah.
is it me or all ultramarathoners crazy?
Of
Yeah,
course,
maybe.
Of course, Todd jumped in on that because I was personally sitting here myself when you said ultramarathoner, and I was going to say, "Stop it! You're describing me."
Ultramarathoner doesn't include marathon sessions at Cold Beer and Cheeseburger. Not that I'm going to talk.
It's a different kind of marathon, right?
Marathons are marathons. That's what I say.
If you guys are missing Todd's been on fire today. Also, here's the other one he got from us. Looks like Battle of the Bears with Terry as a ref. If you guys don't know, Jay and I are a little hirsute in the facial area. We got some facial hair going.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Todd. Thanks for that compliment, sir.
Hey, so Terry, you asked me for a couple of, so let me take the spotlight off of myself. I've got other unique examples. I've got friends of mine that are co-owners of a really cool hip promotional product agency, Danny Rosen and Robert Fiveash of Brand Fuel. They have offices in Raleigh and in North Carolina and in Virginia. They have literally made it a part of their value, their purpose, that they're not just going to print swag and deliver swag and say, yay, we're done. They wanted to step out of that, and they have a variety of different levels of experiential marketing. So keep in mind, they're a promotional product agency. They don't own their own equipment. They're not decorators, but they understand the value of this process. And so the first thing they did is they partnered with a local screen printer and created an event called Make and Bake, B-A-K-E, like you're baking muffins. Probably has a reference to something else that I have no idea what that means, but folks get a chance to, in a small part, design their own shirt and then print it. They get their hands on the squeegee. They have somebody there to guide them, and they get their own cool custom t-shirt. And the funny thing is they like to talk about the ancient art of screen printing.
Gather around, children.
Right. It's a history lesson. It's a, well, 3,000 years ago, the Chinese. No. So, but for people that are new and attendees that are new, they can't get enough of this make and bake or make and take, whatever you want to call it. It totally works. One of the things they also did is they created a swag lottery machine. So they have this front-facing. It's made out of something, like it's sturdy, like wood, and it's decorated, and it's got slots, and it has a hole, and it has a lever, and they call it the swag lottery machine. And you insert a lottery ticket, which is, by the way, capturing data, and then they pull a lever, and they watch and they laugh as a human arm comes out and delivers this cool custom little piece of swag, some merch that was branded for the event. And then they're just busted up laughing because it's like, how silly is that, right? But that's exactly the point.
That's
it's
awesome.
Creating this emotional, deep connection. I love it. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
Who's going to forget that, though? Somebody
You never would. Oh, check it. Did you get your swag from the lottery machine?
Totally. I've seen that before. I saw a setup, and I can't remember who it was. Somebody did another swag setup very similar, where there were 3 holes, and it said which one was like you're brave or braver or bravest.
Yes,
is that him?
Them.
That's Brand Fuel. I thought it was them.
And so it's the same thing.
Depending on, and you had to reach your arm in, and then they would deliver the swag.
So they flipped the ideas to where it was even more experiential, where that person had to trust, and they were like, "How brave are you?" Right? I'm going to put my hand in here. What are they going to give me? Am I going to get a handful of spaghetti like when we were kids, and they would say, "Ooh, you're touching brains" or something. Those guys are
awesome.
so creative, and their last one that really caught my eye, I could see being a little less silly, but still very meaningful, which was a taste testing. So what they would do is they create a team building experience, and these memories, right, that they're making will be savored for years. Now think of it this way: think about breweries, think about chocolate factories, coffee houses, wineries, a bakery, someplace local where local artisans are making their craft, their wine, their coffee, their beer, their muffins, whatever, and then take that experience and wrap it around some kind of a lesson, a moment where there's a teaching or educational connection. And then, of course, they have custom branded merch, sometimes personalized for the attendees. But when you combine that location and that coffee or that local, brewery or craft beer, and then some sweet swag, and then you might have just a 15-minute, hey, did you know moment. You're breaking barriers, you're making connections, you're keeping it real. And that's what that experiential marketing really means to me. And there's examples all over the place. We could speak on this topic for probably another hour, but I know we don't have to.
Well, we got a little bit of time yet, so I still want to kind of expand on what we're doing. But first, let me bring in a comment from Carolyn again. She's on fire too. We have a booth at the street fair that we set up, a small single color screen printing on tees for kids through our arts group in town. This is to show people that there is money in being an artist and not to give up on the art dream for a living. I think that's really cool too. So yeah, honestly, there's a lot of reasons why you can do this experiential marketing, and the education that's possible through this. It's amazing. We always talk about, say, being a solutions provider as a decorator. What better way than to partner with an event or partner with a company and put together one of these experiences? You think that's not going to wipe off on you as a decorator where they go, oh, where do I go get these things done? Even your conventional, order taking business will increase based on you being part of this experience thing, even if that's not your main business.
As a decorator, you don't have to be there promoting your business. You could be promoting someone else's business. There's a great example of this year at the New York City Auto Show, which is a 2-week affair, and hundreds of thousands of people go through there. I know a decorator. He was set up in one of the car booths. He had 4 direct-to-garment machines there, and they were doing. You walked up to a screen. It took a picture of you, and it made it this kind of abstract art of you. Oh, wow. And the name of the car company was on there, and he had to have 4 machines running to keep up with the demand for these shirts. So he contracted with a car manufacturer, and they're in the booth, and after the event, he told me, I'm expanding on this. I'm going to be doing this at conventions all over the country now. And so, it's a marketing, or it's an outlet for you also to sell your trade to somebody by doing this experience for them.
Hey, let me add this point, you guys. Let's put a finer point on this too. While you're there doing this, whether it's at a fair, whether it's at a trade show, whether it's at a local school, there is a farmer's market waiting for you. Okay, trust me. There is a chamber of commerce that would just be like, wrap their arms around. Really, you would do that for us? You can do that? That's possible? Okay, you're bringing your craft and you're making it personal for people, and the evidence, the proof that you can do this is on full display. So you're literally marketing your business at the same time. Sure. So how often is somebody going to come up with a business card and go, oh, hey, listen, I need shirts, or I need bags, I need hats. It's going to happen at every event you do this.
Yeah, if you don't have your business card holder up there, you're making a giant mistake, because it's like I always tell people, if you don't have any business, you're not telling anybody what business you're in, because our particular industry, if you go to a party with 12 people, somebody in that group of 12 is in the market for what you have to sell. So, and that's the same scenario, but times 1,000.
Well, it looks like we've got people who are checking in on this too. I love this. I'm stunned at all the great ideas of Lenore. And she's like, I am too busy taking notes to write in. I love that. So I love that. Thank you, Jay. Jay is bringing the fire today. And we have Jeff coming in. Best example of this is how long it can be effective and how Disney uses their parks to build brand around character movie franchises. People like it so much they pay Disney to participate. Yeah. partnering with IP is pretty cool, So I think that's something that people can do, and you'd be surprised how many people are in the market for it. Plus, it doesn't have to be Disney. It doesn't have to be a car company, or it can be a local event. And in fact, I think you can connect those with purpose marketing. If
100%.
you are doing charity events, that's a huge
100%.
one.
Yep. We did this probably 20 years ago. I'm not exaggerating, at least, because it was before I was with Digital Art Solutions. So it was in the way back machine. And we had a 2-color manual station, screen printing, and it was for a local poker run. So it was a motorcycle event where guys and gals would ride their motorcycles to these 5 different destinations, get 5 cards when they came back. And so, of course, we had this poker themed T-shirt, but we were printing live, and it was all of the proceeds that were being for the shirts were going directly to a charity. I was already paid to be there. In other words, that was separate. Anybody that was buying a shirt was 100% of the proceeds. 100% of that was going towards this charity.
That's awesome. Like I said, I don't think it has to be anything big. People expect to go, oh yeah, well, when Disney does it, when Levi's does it. No, you can do this. In fact, a lot of people who come to my shows, I've always been surprised. People go, oh, it's all the big, multi-head machine people. I'm like, no, it's a lot of people, a couple of single head machines on a trailer, and they started because their kid's sports event. They're like, my kid wrestles for 5 seconds. And the rest of the time I'm standing there, I'm going to set up a booth. I'm already embroidering. I'm going to bring a booth.
Kid wrestles for 5 seconds. I hope it's more than 5. I hope it's more than 5 seconds.
True.
Your kid needs to spend more time in the gym.
Well, there's some ultra marathoners out there, I hear, who can give you some tips. But while we're here, let me give a couple more comments from people. I popped this up earlier. Greg Kitson.
Greg,
legend. Greg, good morning, T-shirt guys. Good morning, Greg. And also Gene Edwards from Jersey's. Good morning. Sorry I'm late. You are never late. You're always on time. Thank you for being here at all. But while we have you on, I want to make sure we get a chance to talk about your latest marketing project, Jay. So what's going on with you now?
Yes. The branding story. Listen, I've been working on this style guide for what feels like forever, but it's done. I'm finishing.
I can attest to it. I proofed it.
Okay, I was going to say, Terry, please tell people that you've read the whole thing from.
It's awesome.
There's one Terry. You sure?
and Jay, I don't know if you heard at the top of the show, I did a shout out to Joe Ortnow, and
yes.
he used your program based on your speaking at Shirt Lab.
Absolutely, and
Awesome.
Joe, shout out to Joe. He shared some of what he had changed and what he had done, and it's fabulous. It was really, really touching for me because I met Joe. He was excited about this. He took it. He applied it. He's thrilled again about his business. It almost is like a reinvigoration of,
right.
Hey, I'm making these good choices for good reasons, and this is going to help me move forward in my business. So it is something that will be an ebook, and it will be finished very soon. We are working. I need Aaron's expertise on a couple of things as it relates to e-commerce. So we are in the weeks away, even though I know I've said that before. This time I mean it. So look for your style guide, and it won't be free. It will be worth it, and I can't wait to let people know about that soon. Very soon.
So Jay, for people who didn't hear your program here with us discussing it a few months ago, give us a little bit of idea what it is.
Yeah, so think of it as a very sequential process, 6 to 9 steps that are going to help anyone of any business, an apparel decoration, screen printers, promotional product distributors, sign makers, anybody listening. It's not just a tool, though, for you. That's the primary purpose. But it's also an education tool for you to then take that information and work with your customer base. But it's specifically to rebrand, to build more awareness about your purpose, to tell your story in a more succinct way. And then it builds on itself. And it does it in a very important order so that you're not just racing out creating a cool logo that you spend a lot of money on and a lot of time designing and is in fact cool, but nobody gets it. So it's an opportunity for you to go back, especially if you've been in business for 3 or 4 or 5 years. It really opens your eyes. You're like, I should have done this when I first started. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't know what you didn't know.
Right. I like as I was reading through it, at one point you say, you go, do not skip to step number 3 or whatever it was. I know you want to, don't do it.
Yes, of course we do, because it's the cool thing. It's the visual thing. It's the thing we dream about, is this amazing logo. And it's like, there's a lot of work to do before you arrive at that logo. And most people fail because they think that the logo is for them. And it's not. It's really for the audience that you're going to serve. But we get hung up on it. We get excited about it because we're victims of great branding. We've been watching what Mercedes and Reebok and Vans and Quicksilver and the Phoenix Suns are, we get sucked into this, and we think it's all about this branding, which people identify as a logo. And that's wrong. It's a mistake. That's step number 3. So there are really 9 core things to review, and then a worksheet full of questions to ask yourself. And again, I want to make this point. It's, yes, used for you primarily. That's the point. But it is also a tool, whether you're an embroiderer, a screen printer, digital printer, sublimator, sign maker, whatever you call yourself, a value giver. It's an opportunity for you to coach all of those small businesses that are also blowing it. And they are. I mean, we know this. It happens every day.
Exactly right.
No, it does. And honestly, the other thing I'd like to tell people, here's our shameless self-promotion, go back into the back podcast and listen to Joe's experience. Because if you ever want to have social proof, you want to hear of a decorator who went through Jay's process. Now, it was an earlier version. There's some refinement, I know, since then that you've done. So definitely go back, buy the package when it comes out. But go back and listen to Joe's experience, and you'll find out how much investigating kind of his purpose statements and the things that, Jay sets out really informed how he did his branding. And also, I'm going to put my little 2 cents on this one.
Please put a little layer on top of it. No, that's your,
and I know this is what Jay, I'm sure this is Jay too, but your brand is so much more than your visual look, your logo, your style guide. Your brand is every part of the experience someone has with you. And I think reading through what Joe went through and what Jay's done, he really addresses that. And I think that we don't always think of it that way. Having a step-by-step process for that is amazing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And honestly, these 2 topics are linked. They are connected. Having an experiential event where people can touch and see and be curious and discover, and that can be part of what makes you different on purpose and is built in. It's baked into your system.
That's just awesome.
All right, Jay.
What do I know?
Jay, it should be an audiobook though. That I'm sure that's what Joe got how Joe got you going, or you got Joe going, because if anybody's ever been to one of Jay's events, you want to run out the door and get out there and start marketing. It's like get on your feet, kind of.
My dogs decided they want to say hi, so somebody must be delivering something. So if it gets crazy, you can mute me right now. I just want to let you know.
No, hey, you're good. Besides, also I want to just jump in one more comment from Todd. Poker runs. We did a golf cart one, donated some can coolers, brought in $1,000 job. So once again, social proof. Come on, guys, you can do this event stuff. It does make a difference.
So, hey Jay, where can our listeners find you and reach out to you?
Listen, you can email me. I believe in email. I still use it every day. Jay Busselle, just like the name at the bottom of my square, @gmail.com. So if you want to directly connect with me, you can definitely find me on Twitter, and you absolutely find me on LinkedIn. Same name. That's a real easy way. And then, tune into events like this and be, listener to this amazing podcast of the 2 irregular guys. Wait, what?
Hey.
Today, especially, I always say 2 regular guys and 1 irregular guy. Whenever
anytime I'm on it, I'm one of the, that's why I was pointing.
Yeah,
right
on.
Super.
Well, thank you so much for being on, and I know we've got a bunch of people on fire.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. You rock. Love the show. You're the best.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Jay.
you much, man.
All right, well,
that's great.
Awesome. I always love. I could talk to Jay forever, every day.
Totally.
He's an inspiring kind of guy. But hey, we have a commercial we want to play here. Let's hear a word from our sponsor, Ace Transfer.
Absolutely.
Have you been looking to grow your business or start one in the garment decoration industry? After all, that's why you're listening, right? Ace Transfer Company is located in Springfield, Ohio, and we've provided our customers with high-quality transfers, competitive prices, and great customer service for nearly 30 years. Ace Transfer Company offers a wide variety of garment decoration services, including screen printed transfers, contract screen printing, direct to garment or DTG, dye sublimation, signs, banners, heat transfer vinyl, pressure sensitive vinyl, and more. Use your own designs or have our in-house artists assist you in creating eye-catching transfers. At Ace, we are dedicated to helping your business succeed, so print your vision at Ace. For more information, visit our website, acetransfercompany.com. Send us an email at acetransco@gmail.com. That's ACETRANSCO@gmail. Or give us a call at 800-525-3126.
All right. Well, thanks for that sponsorship. We'll be announcing a new sponsor next week on the show, and actually next week on the show will be all of us coming to you live from Fort Worth, Texas.
Absolutely. And on that note, let's go ahead and bring in our second guest of the day. We have Clay Barbera coming up. Hey, Clay.
Right. Hey, Clay. All right. Clay is the education director at CorelTrainer.com. Welcome to the show, Clay.
Hey, what's up?
Thanks for hanging out with for that first 45 minutes.
Clay's been in the lobby this whole time.
Guys. I'm sitting here on my laptop trying to do some graphics work and just laughing. I hadn't heard the term regulators before. Your people, and it might be a generational thing, but regulators, and I just started.
We have Christine Shreve to thank for that. We once on a show we said we need to have a name for our posse, and Christine Shreve immediately came up with the regulators, and we thought, yes, that's it. Contest is over.
At least once per show, generally somebody will type "mount up" in the comments. So yeah, anybody of a certain age, we all know where that's coming from.
So Clay, you're talking about doing some working on some art while you were listening. I understand you've been on a whirlwind tour recently. What's that all about?
Oh yeah, so basically promoting the new website, CorelTrainer.com, just an entire web page membership website devoted to education for people in the industry. So using Corel, working with graphics, specifically for screen printers, embroiderers, engravers, direct-to-garment printers, sublimators, wide format printers, just all the education that they'll need built into one website. We launched back in March. I've been to 25 different conventions so far this year, and super excited about Fort Worth. That's going to be a big deal for us, for sure.
So
yeah,
talk.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric. Go ahead, Eric. I'm talking over you.
That's totally fine. Next week is Fort Worth. I know we're all kind of excited. I think that's why we're stepping on each other, because we're all going to be there for Fort Worth. What can you tell us about the Educators Lounge and what's going on there?
Yes, super cool. ISS and us have put together the Educators Lounge. Their branding has changed once or twice. It was the Teachers Lounge and the Educators Lounge. So either one, it's the first time they've put this together. We got a big booth right in the back, straight center in the back of the trade show hall there, where we'll just be hanging out before and after the classes we teach, be able to sit down and just relax with our clients and our prospects and answer individual questions more than just in the classes. So I'll be teaching a workshop on Wednesday next week, a 3-hour workshop. I'll also be teaching a Corel class on Saturday, about an hour and a half. And then in between, on Thursday and Friday, in the Educators Lounge, I'll be teaching a short little class at noon. So bitmap vector tracing and what's new in Corel 2019. Aaron, who's not here today, and I, we are the sponsors of that lounge. His Decorators community is going to be a really big deal. Super happy to be a part of that. As you know, Corel Trainer being a part of the Decorators community. So him and I and all of you, we'll all be hanging out in the lounge and all the educators, and yeah, it's going to be good.
So I actually want to bring in a comment real quick for you. We have John C. Swanson here saying, just signed up for Corel Trainers. So far, it's worth it. Thanks, Clay. So.
For sure. Awesome. So far, I believe we're up to 58 videos. And nice. As Jay was talking about, it's not just education videos. It's got to be hands-on. So when you're in CorelTrainer.com and you're watching this, very industry-specific video or tutorial, finding graphics online, working with digital graphics, setting up artwork for screen printing or vinyl cutting, whatever the topic is, you're one button away from the worksheet, so you can print out and follow a worksheet. You're also one button away from using those exact graphics that we use in that video and following along. So it is hands-on.
You know, Clay, and it's so critically important to get education specific to garment or product decorating. There's so much information out there that, you know, is really worthless to you when you only need this part of the program.
Yeah, exactly. And I ran into that. I've been teaching Corel now for about 13 years. If it's not industry specific, that's why, you know, we have the 58 videos, you know, setting up artwork for blank, you know, for embroidery, for setting up artworks so it's ready to be digitized, setting up artwork, you know, with limited nodes for vinyl cutting, Pantone colors for screen printing, those specifics, as well as you know, the tools in Corel and the world of graphics that are so underused. One of my most popular videos is using the Smart Fill tool. It's just one of the tools in Corel that is highly underutilized that can help us so much when we're working with clients' designs and making sure that we have good vector. So it's just one little 8-minute video that people have watched hundreds of times, downloaded the worksheet, and they can follow along with those exact graphics as they're learning. I'm also getting some really good feedback from the live classes that we teach. You know, I'll be at DAX or ISS and I'll teach a class live. Someone in the classroom will say, hey, can you go to my website, download my logo? So again, in the worksheet that you follow along with as a member of our website, you see that person's random example last minute and how we clean it up and make sure it's production ready for the topic of the class.
Oh, very cool. Awesome. I mean, that's like when we're talking about experiences, like we talked about with Jay, there's really something to that from a live experience going on.
You know, Clay, you mentioned the decorators community. What does that mean to you? What's your participation going to be, and you know, how do you feel about this new concept?
Yeah, man, it's really exciting. Ultimately, Aaron's brainchild, and then growth through all y'all. Just a community of trainers, people dedicated to growing client businesses, client companies. The education is key. I don't know how many newbies in the industry that are just starved for education, as well as people who have been, you know, screen printing for a decade and just have been doing things the hard way for so long. They come to our classes, Terry, Eric, Aaron's classes, all of our classes, and they're, you know, I've been, you know, screen printing for 20 years. I've been, you know, engraving for 15 years, and I learned so much in your class. So really the decorators community is going to put us as educators in one location for them. You know, they can come see us at a trade show. They can jump on, you know, the website. They can find us on social media. We can naturally refer to the best person for the questions they have within the community. It's a big deal. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, me as well. Well, besides seeing all of us at the at that booth in Fort Worth, how can folks find you, Clay, other than that?
CorelTrainer.com. Check out the website. You can see all the videos. You can under training courses. You can see all the live classes that we've recorded. Once you're a member, you can log in, do the downloads, the worksheets, and watch the tutorials themselves. Clay B at trainingincorel.com is one of my email addresses. You'll find us on Facebook, that type of thing too. Or just swing by at the show.
Absolutely. All right, super. Well, thanks for coming on, Clay, and giving us a little taste of what's going to be happening next week. And we will see you in Texas.
Awesome. See you next week, guys. Thanks.
See ya.
All right,
yeah, that's going to be really cool. I mean, I know I'm going to be in the booth with Aaron, so anybody who's coming by will get a little embroidery education as well. For once, I'm actually not going to be doing speaking at the show, so the booth will be my primary thing I'm doing now.
I'm the only one who's actually working at this show. Is that what I should take from this?
I mean, I'm working. I'm also there representing in Brilliance and the people
sure,
around here. So, but But no, you're right. You're the only one with the gig this time around, bud.
Exactly. Well, speaking of that, I do have a few events I want to talk about. October 4th at 3:30, I'm going to be doing a direct-to-garment seminar there at the ISS show in Fort Worth. And, of course, myself and Jay will be in the Equipment Zone booth. October 23rd through 25th, I'm going to be participating in the in booth seminars that we're going to be doing the top of every hour at the Equipment Zone booth at Printing United, and it's not just folks from Equipment Zone. We have Dane Clement. We've got several people. We've got some folks from Epson that are going to be giving these presentations as well. And so every top of every hour, we're going to be do about a 10 to 20 minute little mini seminar. So if you're coming to Printed United in Dallas, be sure and stop by and check out a few of those. I have upcoming complete screen printing business courses coming up. Nashville with Atlas Screen Supply. That's October 26th and 27th. That class actually is sold out. Phoenix, I'll be at Workhorse Products on November 2nd through 3rd. And I'm going to wrap up my screen printing classes in Chicago with Atlas November 16th, 17th. Going into November in Chicago, fingers crossed that I don't have any issues. But all of my upcoming 2019 and 2020 events you can find at terrycombs.com under the tab tour dates. I know you're cringing at that.
Don't say 2020, man. I haven't done a real tour dates page, so instead of Aaron chastising you can chastise me because I don't have my dates up there yet. So I'm already looking at it. It's like I said, we're already talking about Long Beach in January, big time. That is coming up on us as soon as you can imagine. And we actually have some other trade shows coming up. As we know, ISS Fort Worth, October 3rd through 5th, NBM Denver, October 11th through 12th. Printing United, like you said, October 23rd to 25th, NBM Charlotte, November 8th through 9th, and then that's it. We are on to the next year with Orlando in January, PPI Expo. It's just going to keep coming. So honestly, lots of events coming down the pike, and I'm actually just right now focusing on Fort Worth. So that I don't panic. But
and by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, Printing United is SGIA.
Yes.
That what we commonly refer to as SGIA. It's just expanded into other types of decorating, and SGIA has acquired Printing United actually over the past couple of months. So I imagine it will be Printing United from here forth.
Well, and everybody else remember ISS becoming Impressions Expo.
Exactly.
So, we're getting through a lot of change there. And actually, one more comment while we're here. We got Lenore. Do you guys have tour jackets? Just saying. Yeah.
We totally need to have tour jackets.
Oh, man. Terry needs the terrycombs.com 2020 tour, the cold beer and cheeseburgers tour.
That's awesome. Yeah, sponsored by. That's what I need. I need a sponsor, man.
You do need a sponsor. I mean, we got sponsored. You need a sponsor, man. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and close down the show, just barely eking out before bonus time hits. So with that, come to the closing of the show. We are super happy to have had Jay Busselle on. Please do check him out. Check this one out. Go back to the show from Joe Ort now and see how he handled that branding. Really great stuff from him, and watch what's coming in the future.
All right. And thanks to our sponsors and Brilliance and their family of products, and also Ace Transfer Company.
Absolutely. And thank you to them for being great supporters of the show. Next week, as you guys have heard, Aaron, Terry, and I will be broadcasting live from ISS in Fort Worth. So come see us. Booth 451. That's where we'll be hanging out.
It's actually 541. You just transposed those numbers.
I'm sorry, 540. I tried, man.
Now that I've got my notes back, I'm sticking to them.
Yeah, my notes are still wrong. I'm scrolling all over the place.
All right. Until then, I'm Terry Combs. He's Eric Campbell, sitting in for Aaron Montgomery.
And we are the Two Regular Guys.
Listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.